Welcome to the MGS Calibration Training video series. In this video, we're going to discuss the tools and procedures for making our electrical connection to a pressure transmitter for calibration. For this step, you will need the Fluke 754 calibrating multimeter, referred to as the 754, a red and black female-to-female wire lead for the Fluke meter, and a red and black test terminal connection for the meter to connect to the transmitter. Now looking at the transmitter, you will see that there are two wires connected. You should be able to see some indication that one of the terminals that the wire goes to is positive. It will have some indication that it is a positive terminal. This could be a plus symbol or the letters POS or anything like that. We're going to move this wire first. The power for the two-wire pressure transmitters is 24 volts DC. This means that you can touch the wires and they will not hurt you at all. Get some electrical tape ready, about 1.5 to 2 inch piece, and stick it somewhere easily accessible with one hand. You can even stick it to the back of your non-dominant hand. Be very careful during this next step that you do not touch the positive 24 volt wire to the negative, and do not let it touch the casing. This will cause a direct short and blow the fuse in the circuit or the PLC card if there is no fuse. Loosen the screw terminals where the wires are landed in the transmitter, being careful that while loosening the transmitter screws, the shaft of your screwdriver does not touch the transmitter casing. Then pinch the wire or crimp-on connection of the positive wire and gingerly lift it up. This may require some light wiggling side to side. Once the connection is free from the terminal, pull the wire straight out towards yourself, then up, being very cautious not to touch it to the housing. Now, while holding the wire with your non-dominant hand, take the tape with your dominant hand and fold it in half around the exposed metal of the positive wire. This doesn't have to look pretty, but it does have to cover all the exposed metal, and it does need to stay in place during the calibration. Folding it in half generally works pretty well. Next, remove the negative wire from the terminal in the transmitter. This wire can touch the casing. It will not short on anything except for the positive wire that is wrapped in tape, so we are safe. Now we want to tighten the screw terminals, again, so that there is no error in our 4 to 20 milliamp signal during the calibration. Take your red Fluke test terminal connector and connect it to the test terminal. The connector is spring-loaded, and if you pull back on the forward part of the connector, it will expose the connection point. The test terminal is the little piece of metal attached to the termination in the transmitter. Pull the forward plastic back and hook the connector to the test terminal. Then do the same thing for the negative with the black connector. Looking at the Fluke meter, you will see there are 6 ports. Place one side of the black lead in the middle black port on the 754. Then place one side of the red lead into the middle red port of the 754. Now connect the other side of the black lead into the connector that is attached to the transmitter. Then the red lead to the red connector. We are ready to configure the meter for calibration now. If you are at this point, you should have isolated the manifold, you should have connected your hand pump, and you should have connected your pressure module.